Covered calls explained. Selling covered calls for monthly passive income. Okay guys, so let's get right into the video. So this video is about covered calls, and we're going to start right off by explaining exactly what a covered call is and why this is such an amazing strategy for generating passive income and even perhaps being able to retire early. So what is a covered call? So a covered call is a transaction where you own the underlying stock and you're going to basically sell a call option into the options market and receive a premium for your share. So here's a graph here by Investopedia, and this is a great example of it to kind of visualize it. So basically what's going on here is simply you are owning the underlying stock and then you are basically selling a option at a certain strike price, and you're basically generating a bit of passive income. So this is great for, generating passive income. This is also a great way to kind of create yourself your own kind of, weekly or monthly dividend if you hold non-dividend paying stocks, which is the majority of the tech stocks, EV stocks, and a lot of the stocks we talk about on this channel. And using this strategy, I've been able to generate over $100 last month. This was the first time I've actually tried this strategy. As you can show you guys some of the, so as you can see here we are in my Google Sheets. I just started this strategy and I placed 4 trades over the last about a month and a half or so. And as you can see here, I did these mainly as a test. I did these with Genius Brands and ChargePoint. And basically all of these contracts I sold, I haven't been exercised on any of them. So this is just money that I've simply put into my pocket. So I basically dipped my toes. So ever since March 25, I've generated over $122 using this strategy, and I'm planning to ramp up this strategy even more. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys exactly a trade or two and exactly why this is such an amazing strategy, guys. So let's get a deep dive right into this strategy. So the first thing you need to understand is, in order to do this strategy, you have to look at a potential trade. So we're going to look at the trade that I made using my Fidelity account. And so we're going to look at the trade that I made from my Fidelity account. So as you can see here, I simply ended up selling a call option with the expiration date of May 21st at the strike price of $3. And I own 1,000 shares of Genius Brands in this particular portfolio. So I sold 10 contracts. I ended up pocketing 4 cents, and which generated around $40, and then minus commission and fees, so I pocketed $37.64. Now I know this doesn't seem like a ton of money, guys, but just realize that I was holding these shares of Genius Brands. I wasn't earning dividends or anything like that. So for a lot of people out there that say all dividend stocks outperform non-dividend paying stocks, well, using this strategy, you can basically generate yourself a dividend. So if you own 100 shares in any company, any publicly traded stock, you can use this strategy. So let's go show you guys an example with like a more popular stock such as Apple. So here we are. So all you have to do is head over to the option. Now I'm using this in Yahoo Finance, but you can do this at, if you're using Webull, Robinhood, Fidelity, E-Trade, Revolt, whatever platform you're using, guys. So let's take a look at the options chain. So basically what we're seeing here is this is a very popular stock in Apple. And basically what you would do is the way I've been using this strategy, I've basically been selling the options around like 1 or 2 weeks in advance at a strike price high enough that basically I don't think the stock will reach that price. So the whole goal here is to pocket the premium. Now I don't really want to sell my shares. So for example, using this strategy, we have some call options that are expiring in a couple of days, sitting at around $127, $128 as I'm recording this video. So will Apple stock hit around, $135, $136 within the next few days? Probably not, considering how, the Apple stock is such a high market cap and things like that. So I could simply, if I had 100 shares of Apple, I could simply sell some contracts here at like $11 cents strike price, and I could pocket that $11 premium. Now let's say I wanted to make even more money and I was pretty confident that Apple stock wouldn't go up so much more. Well, I could simply just move the expiration date out further into the future. So that's what I'm going to do. Done is I simply adjusted the date here, so I moved this out to June 4th, which is approximately 1 month in advance. Okay, so as you can see here, I basically bumped the date up, so I moved this out to basically a month in advance. So as you can see here, this drastically increases the premium I'm going to receive. So for that same price, around $136, instead of receiving 11 cents, I'll receive $1.05. So if you were to sell just one contract, it means you own 100 shares of Apple, and you were to sell one contract, you would pocket around $105 minus options, fees and stuff like that, depending on which broker you're using. So why is this such a tremendous strategy? Well, let's go over some of the pros and cons and advantages and things like that. So one of the biggest advantages is you're able to basically generate monthly passive income without injecting your own personal money into your portfolio. This is a huge bonus, guys, because let's be honest, we're dealing with a lot of tough economic times for a lot of people, and a lot of people have had to either not be able to add money to their portfolios or have had to cut back. Using this strategy, you're basically able to continue to pay yourself your own personal dividend on top of the dividend that you would be receiving from Apple stock. And so far, I've sold around 4 of these covered calls over the past 30 to 45 days, and I haven't had any of them exercised, so it's just been pure money in my pocket. And this is money that I would not have pocketed if I hadn't taken action, guys. So I would just say that's one of the biggest advantages that you can do, is you can just simply generate income. The second advantage that I think is really, really important for covered calls is that it basically allows you to grow your portfolio. So not only are you earning passive income, like I mentioned in point 1, but point 2, you're growing your portfolio balance. So what I've personally done is by selling covered calls, I've simply taken a lot of that money and just reinvested it back into my portfolio. So if we take a look here at some of the trades we can make, for example, I had my most recent trade I posted on April 30th, 2021. I earned $37.64. I simply took that premium and reinvested it in one of the undervalued EV stocks that I think, which is CCIV. That's going to be the SPAT that's merging with Lucid Motors. And then I also bought some shares of Solo Electromechanica. So this is kind of a super low risk-free way for me to invest in other stocks that I really like, using OPM, other people's money that was generated when someone else bought this call option because I sold it to them. So it was just a really nice way for me to take the money. And the fact that I don't think Genius Brand stock is going to trade above $3 by May 21st, or, I will have to offload those shares. So now let's talk about some of the cons. As I mentioned before, that is definitely one of the cons. If the stock is above the strike price that you set before the expiration date, most likely you will be called on those shares. So let's go back to the example I was talking about with Apple. Let's say that you sell a call option at $136 and you receive your premium. If by June 4th, Apple trades above $136, most likely you're going to have to sell those shares. But the good thing is that you're going to sell those shares at $136 plus pocket the premium. So if we go back here to the picture, it kind of explains it a little bit better. Basically, your profit is capped. So your profit is the strike price plus the premium. But let's say Apple shares rally like crazy and it ends up heading to like $140 or $150. Well, then you've potentially missed out on that profit gain. So that's one of the bad things and you've had to basically let go of your Apple shares. So if you were to rebuy Apple stock again, you would have to basically buy it again at a higher price. So there are some negative things with this, I think, especially if you want to hodl your Apple stock. So I would say if you really want to hodl your Apple stock, you should definitely choose a strike price that is so far that is almost, very low possibility of basically Apple stock trading at that level. So for example, if I were to sell a call option for Apple with a month in advance, considering how big and bloated the market cap is, I would probably choose a strike price around $150 or more, because the chances of Apple rallying over $22 in the next month is very low, considering that there's so many shares outstanding and things like that, guys. So these are all really, really important things to understand when it comes to the options trading market. So now, guys, let's answer some common questions. Are covered call options safe? Covered call options are extremely safe, guys. I haven't had any issues selling covered call options. Just make sure you choose a good broker that's not going to charge you a ton of fees. I know Fidelity does charge some fees, and I know you can sell options on places like Robinhood and Webull for free, but I don't like personally using those types of brokers for doing this. I prefer to use it with Fidelity, because if I have a problem, I want to be able to talk to someone customer service representative or something like that. So for this particular strategy, I'm using Fidelity, but if you guys use Robinhood or Webull, you can do this as well. I'm going to upload some covered call tutorials on Webull and Robinhood in the future, but right now I'm just going to say definitely it's a safe strategy. People have been using this strategy for years to generate income, and it's really excellent. So then obviously another question, can you generate true passive income? Well, just using this strategy, guys, we go back here to the couple of trades, and I'm going to make some update videos on basically my monthly progress, but I was just floored at this strategy. You know, I've basically always been a long time shareholder and never really thought about selling covered calls because I was afraid my shares would get liquidated, but I started to realize that probably 60 to 70% of options expire worthless. This is from personal experience for me, usually being in the past on the buyer side, always buying options and trying to flip them at a higher price. Now I've kind of spent more time on the sell side, and now I'm pocketing good monthly income. So like I said, $122 isn't a ton of money, but there's quite a few other positions that I have over 100 shares with that I haven't tried this strategy with much. So now I'm very excited. So doing some quick math, my goal with this was definitely to try to pay my rent using this strategy. So my rent is anywhere from like between $1,000 to $2,000 per month for basic living expenses. And in the first month or so, I was able to generate around $100. So if I could just 10x this strategy, it's very realistic that you can pay your rent or cover your mortgage with this strategy by generating free passive income. And the best thing about it is you don't have to watch stock charts. You don't have to simply go out and get a side hustle or a second job. All you have to do is choose the strike price, choose the expiration date, and click a few mouses, and the income will be credited to your account. In case with Fidelity, it gets credited to your account like the next day. So it's just a phenomenal strategy, guys, and I think it's scalable. So obviously you're probably going to be able to do this strategy. If you're going to need some capital, of course, right? So this is like, it takes money to make money, guys. So to generate enough passive income to make like $1,000, $2,000 per month to pay your rent or something like that, to pay all of your expenses, if you needed like $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month, you should be able to basically generate this much money if you're selling call options every month, and you've probably got around at least $50,000 to $100,000. Probably would be a little bit easier with like 150 to 200K. I think you could easily hit this. And the best part about this strategy is that you don't have to buy dividend stocks. So, in this channel, we talk about a lot of tech stocks and things like that with the potential to, to make a lot of gains, like Tesla and ChargePoint and Uber. These stocks don't pay a dividend. So with this strategy, you're really able to generate that income and really invest in companies that you believe in, not necessarily companies that pay the best dividend, which I think is a huge, huge benefit, guys. So that just wraps things up with this strategy. Like I said, if you guys have any more questions, be sure to leave them in the description below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Basically, I would say you can't really lose on this strategy. The only way you can lose, like I said, is you lose on the potential profit that if the stock finishes above the expiration price, guys. So like I said, there's not a ton of risk with this strategy. It's very safe. Just make sure you're putting your expiration date far enough. Like I said, you don't want to put your expiration date way ahead in price if you want to keep your shares. Now, if you don't mind letting go of your shares, let's say you own Apple stock and it's 128 and you would accept $130 for your shares, you don't care whether the price is going to finish on June 4th, then you can just simply choose a strike price closer to in the money and pocket the premium, and then you'll basically be in the green as long as the stock doesn't, as long as it doesn't go over $133 because you have 130 plus 280, which is $132.80, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video tutorial. Like I said, if you enjoy selling cover calls, if you're interested in this strategy, please smash the like button, guys. Subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be giving you guys updates on this, as well as more tutorials on selling cover calls, because I think this is an absolute game changer, and it's best because you get to pay yourself a dividend. You don't have to worry about these companies increasing them through management. So that's it until next time, guys. Hope you enjoy this video. Take care.